Hi, I'm Heath Firestone with Cinematechnica, and today I'm talking with Ben Dynice about Quasar's new running video through the lighting system. So you explain to him.
Yeah, so with our double rainbows and R2s, we're talking about image-based lighting, the ability to run video through a playback engine to be able to put video, map it directly onto the lights. So what we're doing here is we have a Hog4 lighting console. We drop the video files into here, and we've pixel mapped them to play in the array. Now, this matters when you're working with an LED volume, so you can have interactive lighting that it has a much better spectrum than that you would typically get from your LED wall. So with much better spectrum, you're going to render better skin tones and ultimately come up with a better product. Because what we're trying to do is essentially, if you're trying to tell a story, you're trying to transport your audience to a different lane, a different place with your LED volume, you need the interactive lighting to be able to do so. And you could do that with the double rainbow and rainbow 2.
So this is going to actually give you the wrap and stuff and the colors that you actually want, so you're not going to have any, you're going to blend with the environment because you're basically interactive lighting is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, you're taking the same media that you're putting behind your characters and you're putting it into the lighting. And that's important because if you think about real world elements, a tree doesn't irradiate light, a wall doesn't irradiate light, but it bounces light, and light travels in different ways when it hits those objects. So you can create more realistic environments if you could take that same media and put it into your lighting. And with our pixel depth and with the size of our pixels, you can make that interactive. And that's what it's all about. It's getting that immersive feeling onto your talent so that you believe that they're physically in that space.
Okay, so from a production standpoint, so are you just feeding the video files that are representing the environment in real time into this system, and it's making those while you're playing your LED background, or how?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do a static 2D video file and load it into the console or pixel mapping engine in order to play it back, or you can actually work in Unreal or Disguise or Stagecraft, and you can take the 3D images and over SACN or ArtNet, you could pump that the live pixel data directly into the lights.
So something like Unreal, so rather than using the background information, you can actually take whatever information would be above the person.
Correct.
From that perspective, so you're getting much more realistic than faking it, I guess,
Right, so you could take the sky that you've created at that sunset hour inside of Unreal and map it directly into the lighting to get it on your talent.
And this works with the Rainbow 2 series lights, is that right?
Right, the Rainbow 2 and double rainbows. So our Rainbow 2s, they're a single row of pixels, and we have an 8-footer that's 48 pixels, a 4-footer that's 24 pixels, and a 2-footer that's 10 pixels. And then we have our double rainbow lights. Double rainbows are 2 rows of LED pixels. Our 4-footer is 2 rows of 24 for a total of 48 pixels, and our 2-footer is 2 rows of 10 for a total of 20 pixels.
Okay, so what equipment other than your double rainbow lights do you need to be able to actually run a setup like this?
Well, you need some kind of controller that will be able to take that video file, like a pixel mapping engine, and send out ArtNet or SACN to get to the lights. So
okay.
That's the main thing that you would have to have in order to get the interactive playback on the lighting.
Okay, and so what am I looking at here again?
So here we have a Hog4 lighting console. We've mapped all the lights, we've DMX programmed all the lights, and in here we've created an array that represents the ladders that we see behind us. So every box on here represents one pixel cluster of the lights. Okay. And when the video file tells that one cluster what to do, if it says it to be yellow or tells it to be red, the lights will respond in the same way. It's outputting the data from each pixel to the lighting.
So this image I'm seeing here is what we're seeing
Correct.
The lights there.
Let me step over here. I can cycle through some more.
Sure.
So like this file we have here is actually of Fremont Street, North Las Vegas, being here at NAB and all. So we've dropped this file in, and we get to pick what part of this video file that we want to map. I could zoom in, I could zoom out, I could crop, I can scale it, and I can also color it and tint it in different ways directly in the system. And this is just one of many pixel mapping platforms available that you can feed directly into the lights.
So how difficult is it to set this up? Once you've set it up, you don't want to have to do it again, or is it fairly easy to set up an array like this?
Yeah, I mean, from there, it's pretty easy. If we want to start manipulating things here, I'm just keying it into the console here, and I can start playing with it. Let's see.
So how many lights are you using here then?
So right now, this is a total of 24 lights above, 48 pixels each. And so inside here, look, I could just start moving the image around. Yeah. I can start moving the image around and being able to do whatever the needs of the shoot are.
Excellent.
Let's go back there. There we go. So I can scale it up, I can scale it down, I can zoom in.
So now, obviously, you'd be using this with a situation where you've got an LED environment and stuff to augment, but could this also be used where you have a green screen background to give you more realistic lighting to match your environment?
Yeah, you could do the same token if you're using green screen, but you want to still get that interactive lighting on your characters, because so often when you're shooting green screen, you don't necessarily know what's going to be behind them. You don't know how to make the lighting tie them into that environment, but you can get video files of what you're going to be using, map them into the lights, and suddenly the person that you're capturing feels like they're there.
Well, yeah, obviously one of the most difficult things when you're doing virtual production is making the lights look natural to how you want to be set up, and now you're basically able to create an interactive lighting environment, where you don't,
It's not something you could do with a large panel,
No.
Because you need the pixelization, you need that control, because the real world is pixelated, right? So to speak.
Yeah.
It's infinitely pixelated. So everything is bouncing light, some things irradiate light, and in this way you can really use this to augment the reality of what you're shooting.
Well, and when you were talking about green screen, one of the interesting things about that is with the LED walls, you're stuck with what you shot. It's kind of like shooting in real life. But if you're shooting against a green screen, well, you basically know what the environment's going to look like, and you basically know what your lighting's going to be like. You have that flexibility of still changing background elements or having your final renders or whatever you're doing for your background, but you're still going to have that interactive lighting that's probably going to be accurate as long as you had a rough idea of what it was when you were filming and set it up like that, right?
Exactly, and it will give you a more realistic look. If you don't know what exact forest environment you're going to be in, but you know that you want to still feel that on the actors, you can get the video files and map them in there to help you out.
It's exciting stuff. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Great. All right, thanks for having me.